All right, Sony. Yeah, all right, Sony. You're not doing too bad, Sony. Tony told me that Sony was totally transfixed with trigonometry. All right, folks. Bit of a, well, last minute is not the word. And decided to do this when I came in from work, because I'm not in work tomorrow, so I thought I'd do a bit of a cheeky live stream. Even though I probably really shouldn't drink after yesterday in Manchester with Craig and Adam. And yeah, I didn't realise Harry was live tonight. It wouldn't stop me. But yeah, because I'm bored shitless and it's warm again. It's really nice yesterday. It got a bit cooler, but now it's back to being warm again. So basically, I'm talking to the people who are watching the playback as opposed to live, because nobody's watching it yet. Well, there's 3 people watching apparently. I'm probably one of them because I've got the comments up just in case StreamYard misses comments from YouTube and YouTube misses comments from StreamYard. But yeah, so I'm just going to jump right on into it. I was going to do an episode of Libidomania, doing a review of the Years of Lead box set from Arrow, but couldn't be bothered downloading the trailers for each film to show on this. And I still need to do my top 10 films, well, 10 of my favourite films of all time. But it is what it is. The channel's sort of just taken a nosedive, just because I'm too bone idle and lazy. But yeah, so made an order with House of Trembling Madness a little bit recently. Basically picking some beers up for James and also doing a bit of a beer order with Adam. So I thought, might as well just do it all at once. I was primarily focusing on Doppelbox and stuff like that. But then I saw that they had a few Fuerst Wiacek beers. So I thought, I'll pick up a few cans. And I'm reviewing 2 of them tonight. First up, well, we'll do it in a sort of ABV level. Doesn't really matter. I'll probably just open them up at the same time. So we've got Sky Dancer, which is an IPA brewed with, it doesn't say. Hoppy beers are fragile, aroma is volatile, enjoy ASAP for best experience. I know these guys are based out of Berlin. I've only had a few beers from Fuerst Wiacek, and I've enjoyed them. I was very tempted to get a can of the Exploding Rainbows, which I've already had it in a 330, and now all of the beers seem to be in a 440. And yeah, they've got a really nice sort of branding to them. Has that sort of 70s space art sort of thing, but at the same time, it's got a nice 90s vibe about it. And 80s, I should have said, not 90s. But yeah, Sky Dancer IPA. Can't remember what hops are in this. I shall have a look on Untapped. I keep going to go to the website, but I've still got it on my old phone, the app. Not used Untapped for ages, although I was getting tagged in some of Craig's posts. So, Sky Dancer. So yeah, IPA clocking in at 6.8%. So let's see what the description is for this one. When it decides to fucking load. So dry hopped with Galaxy and Citra. I do like the Galaxy hop. And we've got the legend that is Adam saying evening. Just watch Harry stream. It's going to be much more interesting than this one. Trust me. Yeah, so Sky Dancer. Do like a bit of Galaxy. And then next one, I should say, is we've got Jukebox Phobia, which is a double IPA clocking in at 8% ABV. So what's a Jukebox Phobia all about then? I am aware, Paul, that you have joined the chat. I shall speak in a second. Once again, while I wait for this to load. My internet's been absolutely awful these past couple of weeks, just cutting out for no reason. This is brewed with dry hops with Citra and Idaho 7. So I know Adam's a big fan of Idaho 7. So cheers, my good sir, says Paul, PA Brew News. And then Adam and Paul saying good evening to each other. So yeah, we've got an IPA and a double IPA. Again, artwork is really nice. I think this is it sort of like a rebranding, or I don't know, because the Exploding Rainbows is still that black and white illustration, which is really nice. But yeah, so Fuerst Wiacek. Last beer I had from them, I think, was one in Bunderbust in Liverpool, if I remember correctly. So we'll pour this out, see what we get. Pour it all over my leg. It's alright, Adam can lick it off if he wants to. Not much bum fun yesterday in Manchester with me, Craig and Adam, which was a real shame. But as always, next time. So I hope everyone's doing alright. Hope everyone had a nice weekend, or whenever you're watching this. There we go, so I've got them both poured. I can get onto the comments on YouTube. Don't really have the most energy today. Grabbed a case of George Gale's Festival Mild from 2006. I bet that's aged nicely. Where the hell did you get that from? That sounds glorious. Absolutely glorious. You know I like a good mild. So, Sky Dancer, beer in the glass then, and I've never really understood the sort of like haze murk sort of scale when it comes to these beers. Let's see. So that is the IPA. That is the double IPA. Both pretty much have the same colour to them. I'd say this is more like a paler, chalkier colour, whereas that's a little bit more bold. But they do look nice, don't they? Both poured with pretty much the same colour head as well, slightly tinged from the beer that it is resting upon. And yeah, one finger each head. Looks almost identical, but then again, most hazy IPAs look the same anyway. We had some really nice beers yesterday. Some very nice beers indeed. St. Freulen Grand Cru from 2012 too, and Beelzebub 13% from France from 2006. So nice vintage holder, Paul. And then we've got Brett, Beer to Beer Reviews. Nearly forgot Paul's name, nearly forgot Brett's name. What the fuck is going on? And good evening to you too, sexy stranger. It's all about man love on the channel. Still bloody jealous of your shirt. You should go get one. It was quite cheap off Black Iris. The merch is good. I just wish they did sweatshirts. So I'd like that of like, you know, the logo. I used to hate like t-shirts with a pocket on because I thought it was dumb. And I used to hate t-shirts with just a small sort of like logo there. Because I've always like opted for t-shirts where you get the design covering the whole t-shirt, because to me it was like value for money. But yeah, I do like a good simple well-made t-shirt. I forgot my name. I'm thinking about getting patches for my cutter. You certainly should. I don't know. I don't think I can pull off patches. I really want to put patches on like a den, or like me a blue chore jacket. I think that'd look nice with like a patch on the pocket, maybe one on the. I don't know. I still really want to get like sleeve tattoos, but how fucking stupid would I look with sleeve tattoos? Still want one though. I'd still want to get a proper like interesting sort of just combination of different doodles and things that I've seen that I like. Because I think I would actually come up with a good like collage to have on my arm. Not like I design it, but just like found images. I mean, this sticking with a Kev Grey. Let me just take this off the wall. I would absolutely love. I've not even like tasted the beers yet. I'd absolutely love that on like my arm there. Obviously not like this, but done properly. Put you back on the wall. Mother's Ruin. That was like a gin and tonic inspired IPA, if I remember correctly. Yeah, to sew my patches on my denim cutoff. Need to get it before I see Diamond Head in February. Yeah, I bought a denim vest once, but I looked fucking stupid. I look fucking stupid in most clothes that I buy, to be honest. Before I met up with fucking hell. Before I met up with Adam and Craig, because I got there a little bit early, I went to Uniqlo because I needed some new pants. Got these nice sort of the most comfiest pants I've ever bought. So I picked up a couple of pairs of pants, picked up some sunglasses because I don't have sunglasses, and they had a hat in there on the website that I really wanted. You know those annoying cunty indie bands like Two Door Cinema Club, where they've got like the denim jacket and then a striped shirt and then a slightly big hat. Not like Pharrell's sort of hat, but you know what I mean? I think like Hot Chip, one of the people from Hot Chip wears them. It's one of those things like, tell me you're in a shitty indie band without telling me you're in a shitty indie band. But I couldn't find any. Lord Nibbler says, love the t-shirt. Thank you very much. It's one of my favourites. And it holds a good message that I think we can all abide by. And I look like I'm slightly deformed. I look like I'm deformed anyway without doing that, let's be honest. And I need more tattoos. I want to get Wild Weather's teddy bear on my thigh. See, that's the sort of stuff I want to get. Like little characters like that. Like Mikola. And just piece of art that I've really liked. And just... I don't know. It's a big commitment, though. Anyway, I digress. But thank you all for joining me. So we'll start off with Sky Dancer. Citroen Galaxy, if I remember correctly. Smells really nice from here. So on the nose, it's got a soft sort of like yogurty aroma to it. Or like the mallow part of a Haribo fried egg. Which, funny enough, is the same as the mallow part on the back of a Haribo heart. And every other Haribo sweet that's got a mallow underneath the jelly. Which, by the way, Haribo Smurfs, the ones we get here are crap. The ones in Germany are really nice because they're that like sort of like firm, but not hard, but not soft. Anyway, what the fuck am I talking about Haribo sweets for? Now I really want some Haribo. Question for the audience. Star Mix or Super Mix? It's a point of contention for me because there's some great stuff in the Star Mix, but then there's also some great stuff in the Super Mix. And in a perfect world where I ruled over everyone and made every single decision, I would pick out the best from that bag and the best from that bag and make my own super Haribo packet of sweets. Because, like, who the fuck wants a jelly ring? Anyway, enough about rings and the lack of penetrating rings yesterday. On the nose, it's got a soft, lemony sort of aroma. There's a little bit of a herbal character coming through. Smells nice and mellow. Smells good. Let's give it a taste. Prost. Ooh. It's got a little bit of a tang to it. It's not as soft and sweet as you would expect it from the nose. There's a slight lime sharpness coming through. Very slight though. Nice smoothness, but it does have a relatively light body. But it works really nicely. It's not as chilled down as I'd want it to be. But then again, you're going to get more of those flavours. It's not at room temperature by any stretch. But I like it to be a little bit colder for my tastes. But for reviewing purposes, it's at that temperature where there's nowhere to hide. There's almost like a passion fruit twang to it. I usually hate passion fruit flavours. I've said it time and time again. Mikkeller completely put me off passion fruit IPAs, passion fruit in sours, passion fruit lagers, just because they just used passion fruit so much. But yeah, this is nice. It's a modest IPA. It's not the juiciest. It's not the hoppiest. It's got a slight resiny character to it. There's a level of dankness there. Not oniony, garlicky sort of dankness, but there's still dankness there. Definitely get an apricot sort of flavour coming through. Yeah, it masks its ABV really, really well. It's drinking like a nice rounded sort of session IPA. Let's see. Also, I'm wearing my flares denim cut-off and denim shirt for Diamond Head. Doing the proper NWOBHN image. It's gone over my head slightly, that. Doesn't take much, don't worry. I've not put live chat on. Demon Kick-Ass NWOBHM, new wave of British heavy metal band. Okay. What exactly constitutes new wave British heavy metal? I'd be interested. I'm not a metalhead, but I do like some. I mean, I love Judas Priest. Probably my favourite metal band would be Electric Wizard, because I like that. I like that doom, sludge, whatever you want to call it, where the singer isn't like screaming, sort of like, Cannibal Corpse style. I can't do Cannibal Corpse, can't do Anal Cunt. Just those sorts of bands I just can't do. And the thing I like about bands like Electric Wizard is it's heavy, it's like distortion turned up, but it's also mellow at the same time, and you could potentially relax to certain Electric Wizard songs. And I've got Goldrake, who says hello, long time no see. Currently drinking Purple Moose Black Rock Stout. It's quite a decent drop. Cheers to you, sir. Notice my new profile pic. Boy, about tan in it. Indeed. I was trying to think of a witty jam-related response then, but I'm not on good form tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Or should I just say gentlemen? Evening, Peter, says Craig. Good evening, Craig. Hope you're doing well. And evening to you too, James. I would have actually contacted you yesterday about potentially meeting up in Manchester, but I didn't know how long I would be in Manchester for. I ended up staying there till what should have been like getting home in time for my last bus back into Skem. But if you saw it on Instagram, you saw I got a little bit ranty, a little bit moany. I became a little bit of a bitch last night. Yeah, Network Rail, there weren't enough train drivers, so they had to cancel some trains, and unfortunately mine was one of them. So there was a replacement bus, which took ages, and yeah, I always seem to have trouble getting home from Manchester. As much as I adore Manchester, my second home, even though I've never lived in Manchester, I have no form of abode in Manchester, it can be a proper pain in the tits to get home. Right, so you're in Cornwall anyway, but next time we'll definitely have to organise something. And yeah, I got in Northern Monk, I got a voucher for a free pint of faith because I bought a few cans, and they even gave me a. It's as if they know me, which they don't, because I'm the most irrelevant person in this beer community. They gave me a free tote bag for the collection. I might start documenting my tote bag collection on Instagram for people to rip the piss out of me. But yeah, so they picked up some American stuff. Picked up a can of Hop City, The Resurrection, because both Adam and Craig said that was really good. Picked up a Patrons project with Smug that they did. What else did I pick up? Picked up a pale ale from Vitamin C, who I think the only time I've had one of their beers was a collaboration with Equilibrium. Then, I don't know, I'll probably show you them in a little bit after I've done the reviews. But yeah, so good. And I've got a free pint of faith next time I go to either the refectory in Leeds or if I go to the one in Manchester, which it just cemented yesterday that Northern Monk in Manchester is probably my favourite place to drink. I did not realise how vast their cellar project is. Some great beers. And the fridges were really good. Got some good American stuff in there. And the tap line was nice as well. The draft was a little bit limited. But yeah, there's just something about Northern Monk in Manchester. And to be there with two people who I absolutely love and adore, Adam and Craig, it was just nice. It was really nice. But yeah, I hope you're having a good time in Cornwall, James. Let's see, New Haven, how you pronounce it. New Haven bands include Iron Maiden, Saxon, Diamond Head, etc. They sing like Cannibal Corpse doing is godly. I have so many bands I need to steer you into. Well, I'm easily moulded. Black death metal bands don't scream or shout. We vocalise, says Paul. Check out Pagan Altar. Put me a bit of Smiths on. Put me a bit of the Smiths on earlier. Do like a good bit of Smiths. What's your favourite album? I hope you had a good time. Certainly did. Let's see. Yes, Paul, good shout out to Pagan Altar. They're part of the Newborn too. Also, check out Witchfinder General. I've heard a lot about Witchfinder General. Still need to actually watch the film. But yeah, that's what I like about especially some of the doom bands that I've come across. The whole like use of pagan, witchy, folky horror and stuff. Bye, Harry, and hello, Pete, says Sam. You've jumped ship onto a drowning ship, Sam. Good morning to you, sir. And then we've got the legend that is James. Evening, sexy. Good evening to you. The Queen is Dead is a classic. It certainly is. I want to get that that special edition vinyl box set they did. Because my friend Chris has got that, and he's got a really good sound system as well, so it's sounded amazing. I think my favourite, I don't know what my favourite Smiths album would be. Probably, I like Meter's Murder, but I refuse to ever listen to Meter's Murder, the song, because I think it's fucking awful. And I just hate that whole attitude. But yeah, mainly because it's got one of my favourite, if not my favourite, Smith song, Barbarism Begins at Home. But then again, I do like the Smiths, the first album. But yeah, I don't know, Smiths are one of those bands I absolutely love and adore, but I think each album has a few tracks that I just completely skip. I don't know what it is. Let's see. Black Sabbath for me at work today, says Sam. And Suffer Little Children is my favourite song. Yeah, I do like that. I like the bleak sort of songs. What's it called? This Night Has Opened My Eyes is probably my favourite Smith song. But yeah, when the Smiths for me are good, they're fucking untouchable. But there is a little bit of riff-raff in between. Let's see. Need to catch all these comments. Traditional Doom, indeed. Black Sabbath. I love Sabbath. They're local to me too, says Goldrake. Aston the Boy. Yeah, man, that's the first thing I think of with Birmingham, says Sam. Jagman7 says, evening all. Evening, Jagman. Hope you're doing well. Goldrake says, indeed, Zeppelin are also local to me. As a matter of fact, my granddad grew up on the same road as Warwick Plant. I remember you telling me about that. James says, real shame, but Morrissey has become an utter bell end. He certainly has. James says he needs my t-shirt because that's pretty much summarises James in a nutshell. Let's see. When I think of Brum, I think of Godflesh and Judas Priest. Can't go on Judas Priest. Still one of the best openings to an album is the Helion and an Electric Eye. Just amazing. And then, of course, you've got Painkiller as well. What a great way to open an album there. Let's see. Brett has met Logan, Robert's son, of course, Beavertown. Yeah, I like a bit of Judas Priest also. All good. How was the Manchester Beer Festival? Looked like a good one. I didn't actually go to the festival because work sort of dicked me around with holidays. And then it ended up being dead quiet in work. So I could have left early and actually gone to the evening session on Saturday. But from what Craig and Adam were saying, it was really good. Good selection of beers. But just being in Manchester was good, going around some places that I've not been to for a while. And of course with good people. I think the city I really enjoy. I want to go there so bad, says Sam. Yeah, I do like Birmingham. Best video on the internet, Slayer Goes to Church. Of course James would mention something about church. He left but Judas, Derek's guitarist, now works at a local music academy as a tutor, says Goldrake. Oi, offer me a bum. There you go. We need that done on a t-shirt. So, yeah, back to the beer. We can get back to the bum in a little bit later on, don't worry. And if you're lucky, I might do a twerk, which I won't do because I don't want to make people jealous. And I don't want to do that because it's cringy as fuck watching people twerk. Anyway, so spilling beer all over myself. I'll have to take my pants off now. We're going over to Jukebox Phobia, double IPA. Really like that artwork. For some reason, I don't know why, I'm reminded of David Lynch. You know, in Twin Peaks, when the fit one with the black hair, I can't remember what her name is, just starts dancing. One of the only few good things about Twin Peaks. I think I've said this time and time again, but Twin Peaks is really fucking stupid. It's a dumb, absurd, classic David Lynch, where at its heart, there's actually nothing there. and it's just David Lynch being David Lynch. But for some reason, people laud him as this like genius. I've never understood it. I like David Lynch. I think he's a really interesting person. Eraserhead's an amazing film. I like his art. I like his whole, just him as his ethos. I don't know. There's just something really satisfying about David Lynch. But his films being fuck all. They're just silly, absurd, with dumb imagery for the sake of dumb imagery. But I do like David Lynch. Blue Velvet's well overrated. The only good thing about Blue Velvet is Dennis Hopper. But yeah, Eraserhead's an amazing film. But yeah, I tried to watch Twin Peaks, but as soon as I saw that first scene where Ray Wise's character, where he starts, well, trying to cry, because Ray Wise he's a good actor because he's not good at acting. He's just entertaining to watch. And I don't know, I just think I need to revisit it. I mean, I like Carl McLaughlin. I think I like his character. But it's just so stupid. It's really stupid, and it just made me laugh all the way through when I think you're supposed to take parts of it seriously. Plus, there's a fucking dwarf who speaks backwards. Do you know, how's that supposed to be like meaningful and full of artistic value? Anyway, that's just my little rant about David Lynch. But he's got amazing hair, and he likes to have a smoke and a coffee. So he's good in my book. It's just films are stupid. And Mulholland Drive's another dumb film. It's only good because there's that whole lesbian stuff going on in it. But I'm a pig, and I'm problematic. But it is what it is. Oh, this is interesting. Ooh. This is a savoury double IPA. Silky smooth, though. Beautiful texture to the beer. On the nose. It's going to sound really odd and like it's a negative, but it isn't. It's just what it's reminding me of. But you know those like citrus scented things you hang in a toilet bowl, so every time you flush it sort of like picks up in the water. It's got that sort of aroma to it. But in a good way, if that's possible. But yeah, definitely getting a garlicky aroma. It's not too in your face with its dankness. There's a little bit of a sherbet-like tingling going on. Nice, gentle citrus flavours. I'm getting a fair bit of blood orange. It's very savoury on the aftertaste, though. It's like it's big and chewy without being big and chewy, if that makes sense. Just talking shit. Absolute shit. Let's see. Oh, we've had quite a few comments. And check out KK's Priest, so good. There we go. Oi off my bum. Then Beard Beer Reviews throws up the horns. And Goldrake laughs. Rampant Line Reviews with an ethos that I can stand behind, literally. Where's that gone? Drink beer, hail Satan, bum everyone. Fancy a fellatio. Don't half miss a bit of fellatio. Just silently ponder that image for a moment. They do patches too if you're that old school. Well, that's nice of you, says Goldrake. I watched their live the other day again. Such a great film. It lives up to today. Hey, dude, I know you've had a bit of Asian stuff, and this is to James. Just wondered if you tried Maniguelo out of Hong Kong. Always enjoy spreading joy and spunk, says James. That's my motto. Goldrake. I'm gonna miss the conversations of metal between people, but I like that. I like the fact people are talking. And Harry sent a voice message to the Facebook Messenger group. Not many tried one of their early beers when I was out there. Since then, they've been run under license and vocation in England. Okay. KK, mate, he works at Beatdown Music Academy in Dalston. I know a couple of lads who also work there. Pisser cakes, says James. I've seen the stuff on shelves here, but I haven't made the leap. That's awesome. KK's a soul band, but I don't think he's there anymore. Smalley gave them a go. Some really dis beers out of Hong Kong these days. Yardley Brothers, Heroes, and Young Master. A lot of Chinese and Hong Kong craft I've been unimpressed, says Sam to James, with. However, Japan and Korea have been good. Do you know what? I'm really missing Hitachino Nest. There was something about their beers. Their espresso stout was absolutely banging. And I missed out loads on buying some of the bigger bottles when I was in Germany. But you don't see much Hitachino Nest aside from like what's available in the supermarkets. But I enjoyed their beers. I think they also had like a Yuzu IPA, if I remember correctly. That was nice. Let's see. There's some good stuff out there these days. SK didn't have a good gold chain network when I was there in 2019. Japan has good distribution, has good stuff, but distribution is really bad. Sam asks, Peter, what UK brewery are you keen as to try that haven't tried yet? Who haven't I tried anything from? What's that? I picked up James a bottle and a can from them. What's that Goat brewery, James? I'm interested to try that because they had the Imperial Stout that I picked up for you in Beatniks, but I didn't get a chance to go to Beatniks because I was running to what should have been a train, but it was just a replacement bus with fucking drunken Wigan knobheads and a woman who was having one of the most, what sounds like emotionally abusive conversations with what I'm not sure if it was her daughter or her mother, because she just kept like screaming that she was a bully and how dare you speak to me and all this sort of stuff. I thought she was like talking to like an ex-husband or an abusive spouse, but no, it was like she was either talking to a daughter or a mum, her own mother, and I was like, fucking hell. But luckily, I had a nice peppered steaks pasty from Ginster's. I was so tempted to crack open a beer while I was on that bus, but I knew I had work today, and I was just like, nah. I mean, I didn't feel too bad today. Not gonna lie, there are a few movements in the bow where I thought, am I going to shit myself or am I going to be okay? So it was for the first sort of like 6 hours of me waking up, it was twitchy bum time. Now, if you were to ask James what twitchy bum time is, that would mean something completely different. Let's see. Holy Goat, that's the one. I really want to try Holy Goat. Who else? I'll try and think of other breweries who I've not had from the UK. There's a brewery. If Adam's watching this, he might know because they sell. I think because they're on the Lancashire Bottle Shop, but I think it's the brewery that the guy owns or works for, who also owns and works for Lancashire Bottle Shop. And they have Frank Sidebottom on each of their labels. And they're interesting. Funny enough, I've been watching some Frank Sidebottom stuff today. God, there's so many legends, like just these off-the-wall, offbeat legends who come from Manchester. I mean, you've got John Cooper Clarke. It's really fucking warm in here, by the way. You got Frank Sidebottom. I was just watching, just randomly, I don't know what triggered me to watch some Frank Sidebottom videos before I came online. But fucking hell, he was funny. It's like a parody of Three Lines on the Shirt, which people should have played that song during the Euros. Like Three Shirts on the Line, which is basically about a song about his mum who's washed all three of his England kits and hanging on the washing line. I watched a really funny one where he did a Queen medley. And like a karaoke doing a Summertime Blues on that. It's like a weird program in like the 80s or 90s where it was shot in England, but I'd imagine the host was probably really famous in Japan at the time. It was like something karaoke. And I look back and that's the abbreviation of the program is 3Ks, which was probably intentional because you could make jokes like that in the 90s and 80s. But yeah, it's like a Japanese TV host, but it was shot in England with like a British audience, and he had like English guests on. And he did a rendition of Summertime Blues by Eddie Cochran. It was just good stuff. Just look up Frank Sidebottom. I didn't know they did a documentary about him a couple of years ago as well. Because I don't want to watch that film, Frank, with Michael Fassbender. It just seems really fucking pointless to do a film like that, but not actually have it be about the proper Frank Sidebottom. It's weird. I've never understood that. Why that film Frank exists. I've never watched it. It's probably really good, but hey, it is what it is, folks. Let's see. Holy Goats. Had a cracking jobby yesterday. Sat down, farted, and flew out and around the U-bend. Ghosty. We call it squeaky bum time in the motherland. Little Frank, yeah, rest in peace. Tim Taylor Landlord in the Bottle is pretty messy, Gold Drake. 6.5 out of 10. Perhaps. The last couple of bottles I've had of Timothy Taylor's have been pretty nice. But then again, I haven't had Timothy Taylor's on tap in either keg or cask form for a hell of a long time, so I can't really make that sort of a comparison. And Japanese TV is messed up, trust me on that. Oh yes, I'm very much aware how fucked up Japanese television is. My mate Rick was in the Freshies. Oh, really? You know. Yeah, Shelby was malleable. 8 out of 10. Well, it's always good to have 8 out of 10 shit. Considering I've been drinking the night before, my morning shite was pushing a 6. It was pushing a 6. Emphasis on pushing. Because it was one of those ones where it was solid, but it was still in, like, came out in segments, but it wasn't slop. I'm not going to go into too much detail. Let's see. But yeah, Japanese TV. I mean, Japanese porn. I've never fully I'm sure there's like a specific reason why, like genitalia in Japanese pornography is pixelated, but a gaping arsehole you can see in all its glory. In fact, some of the most fucked up stuff I've seen is Japanese. I don't know if anyone's familiar, and I don't recommend you Google this on a computer that you share with a loved one or a spouse. But if you look up the Genki Genki films, it was basically a series of pornography where, like, things like squids, sea urchins, that sort of stuff was used. And the first video in the series, actually, fucking hell, I reviewed this on my movie review channel. Is it any wonder that channel got closed down? But Genki Genki 1 was, I can't remember, it's an absurd English translation for a title. But the first film in that series was legitimately a dog with a strap on fucking a Japanese woman. You can clip that if you want to, but yeah, the Genki Genki stuff's very strange. And what else did I see? I can't remember the name of the video, but the whole premise was Japanese men would like have the sloppiest shits over women. Not only did these women get shat on, but they also got put into like plastic, like a body-shaped plastic bag that had all the air sucked out of it. That was interesting to watch. And then you've got I can never remember the name of these films, but there was like there's lots of stuff where like they'll blend up like insects, semen, and God knows what, and then they'll drink it, vomit it back up, and then consume it again. By the way, go check out Fuerst Wiacek. Beer-related content. I think this is why people don't really want to have anything to do with me in the actual industry itself. It was funny, I was telling Craig and Adam, as I got into Manchester, there was like a group of people, and I noticed Johnny from the Craft Beer channel was there. There was also, can never remember his name, Jack. There we go, Jack, who used to be part of Atom and is now in Love Lane. And there was like a group of people. You could clearly tell they liked beer, and you could clearly tell that a few of them were brewers. And I was just, thankfully, because like Larry David, I hate the concept of a stop and chat. I don't want to talk to you in the middle of the street. So don't stop me and expect a full-blown conversation. Because if I want to talk to someone, I will make an effort to talk to someone. That's the sort of rhetoric people who shoot up schools have, Peter. But yeah, so I just walked past them. And at first it was like a little bit disheartening, because I'd like to think that I contribute a lot to the world of beer when I'm not making very politically incorrect jokes and statements that some people would take issues with. But it was also good, because I was like, I'm not socially equipped to deal with a situation like that. But yeah, so it was interesting to see. But you know, not many other beer reviewers during a beer review will just start talking about very extreme Japanese pornography. But that's what you get with the Clueless Drinker channel, for better or for worse. What else did I watch? There's a really famous video called Something Meal. And again, it's basically just a girl, Japanese girl, eating food while she's vomiting at the same time and then eating it again. And it's It's the Japanese, Japan, I suppose you'd say. So anyway, let's see what we've got on the comments. I went to Post Office Vault Saturday, Hackashaw and Kniver Ale, really nice boozer. Yeah, last time I was at the Post Office Vaults, it was the second day when we were in the Birmingham, the Brum Piss Up, and on that day we were going over to Daya, and we were feeling pretty wank that morning, so a nice pint of Hackashaw, and I was ready for the rest of the day. But yeah, Post Office Vaults is really good. I like it in there. Not quite a rabbit though, says James. Oh, I'm going to ask Machiko if she knows them. Be it on your conscience, James. Be it on your conscience, sir. I remember in school people showing eel soup where they put eels up their fannies. Fucking grim. Well, eels do like to burrow, I suppose. I learned that off Super Mario 64. That was an awful level, that underwater level. That cavern level on Super Mario 64. Oh gosh. You do know Jobby around my area means a beer, says Goldrake. Yeah, we got shown all this weird porn in school by guys in our year. It was fucking vile. For a moment, I thought you were going to say by your teachers, and I was like, you should speak to someone. Larry David, thumbs up from James. I try too much to be like Larry David, but I completely respect his whole worldview. No, do not upset these cancel cultures, says Jane Goldrake. Joking, free speech all the way. Exactly, free speech sometimes means very ugly speech. That's that to me in a nutshell. Because we're getting into that discussion. If you're going to say something bigoted about someone as an individual or a collective, got no time for you. Got no time for you. But the uncomfortable truth is, if you want a society where people do have free speech, unfortunately, that does fall under that. I mean, of course, it gets to the point where it becomes a crime, which I'm very much in support of. But, I mean, we've discussed this loads, haven't we, where I'd much rather, even though I don't experience the rhetoric of these sorts of people, but I myself would much rather have that stuff out in the open for everyone to see, so then we can collectively tear that absolute arsehole apart. And I could have used better terminology because we're going back to bumming, but do you know what I mean now? Anyway, back to the conversation and the beer. What brewery should I try when I get back to the motherland? Says James. I don't know, because I think you've become pretty well versed in these breweries, even though a lot of them you've not managed to try anything, just because of the conversations you have on Facebook Messenger and the group. It's almost like I'm like kind of like a step behind when it comes to breweries. Although I think I was the first one in our little group of friends to actually give Flock a chance, and everybody likes Flock now. It's sort of like with how the world of craft beer started to really get behind lagers, even though I was, singing their praises for about 4 years on the Clueless Drinker review channel. But I'll let them have their time in the spotlight. No, but I couldn't really recommend any breweries that nobody else already has, James. Because they're always sharing like posts about new breweries all the time in our little group. So I'm probably the last person you should be asking questions like that, to be honest. Let's see. I just did an order for some random English beers from a local store here. Timothy Taylor's Landlord was one I had. Then passed on. Sounds like I made a good decision. I think when you're buying it in the bottles, it's one of those classic examples of how that bottle's kept. And I know that's a bullshit statement because that can apply to any sort of beer. But I think a beer like Timothy Taylor's Landlord really does suffer a lot compared to a lot of other beers if it's kept badly. Yeah, best fair, worth can miss. I think everyone should do as they wish. In other words, become born again Satanists, says James. I hate communists, fascists, and theocrats. We should dissolve them into hydrofluoric acid, like in Starship Troopers. I would be very much behind that. And people claim that the Marxists, when they don't know what Marxism actually is, they can jump in there as well. I went 2 newbies from Verdant and Wylam, and then some classic Samuel Smith dark ales. Ooh, I do want some good Samuel Smith stuff. I've not had Sam Smith's for ages. I like their glassware as well. James says Flock, Glasshouse, Utopian. I would happily say all 3 of those breweries are worth your time. Samuel Smith Oatmeal Stout is a must, says Goldrake. Smiley, you have to get to England someday, matey. You certainly do. But mind you, I'm really intrigued by the Australian sort of scene. Let's see. Don't like hooligans either, says James. No, me neither. Especially when they look like Nancy rat cunts. But yeah, he does kind of look like a... You know, like if you were in the 80s and you had an auntie who was a dyke, but she was trying to hide it. That, to me, is what the beer hooligan is. It's like what's-his-face off Wheeler Dealers, the fat one with the black hair. He looks like someone's auntie. Like a bull dykey sort of auntie who's not actually a bull dyke. She just, unfortunately, looks like a dyke. Not that there's anything wrong with dykes. Don't want to get into that sort of conversation, but once again, beer review of 2 beers from Fuerst Wiacek. They'll never watch this live stream, so it doesn't really matter. I think the more I'm drinking this double IPA, Jukebox Phobia, the more I'm getting a twangy, lemony, sherbety vibe about it, which is weird because it's coming out more as it's warming up. And if I were to keep hold of these 2 cans and then take a trip to Germany, I would get 50 cents in my back pocket for recycling. Don't know why we don't have that system here in the UK. I know people like going, it's pointless because you're paying the 8 cents just to get the 8 cents back. Yeah, but it incentivizes people to actually recycle. Plus, it's always good to have that little bit of extra money to go towards a shop. I think it's a really good system, the German recycling system. But James, if we do indeed manage to get to Berlin, I think this is where these guys well, they're definitely brewing from Berlin. I'm not sure if they're actually based in Berlin, though. I'm not sure. I don't know what sort of brewery Fuerst Wiacek is, really. I've sort of taken my finger off the pulse on the German stuff. But it's nice. The double IPA out of these 2, after that stutter, is both of them really good. Sky Dancer, it's one of those examples where it's a well-made beer. It's an IPA that you'd be happy to have again. But I know countless breweries in the UK which will make a comparable, if not an exact, sort of iteration of that beer. It's an IPA you've tasted before time and time again. But this one is too, because it's hard, isn't it, really, when it comes to an IPA, style like an IPA, double IPA, triple IPA, quad IPA, session IPA, black IPA. Well, mind you, I think you could be a little bit more sort of intricate with a black IPA because you've got a little bit more of a spectrum to play with. Well, mind you, you can play with the spectrum a lot when it comes to an IPA. Do you go down the absurdly sweet? Do you want it a little bit boozy? Do you want it a bit more like acidically citrus. Well, you could do a lot of stuff with a lot of beer styles, so this whole little spiel is completely pointless. But yeah, both beers, they're not going to blow your socks off, but you would happily have them both again. And I think out of the two, not that we are comparing beers, I would probably go for it. Oh, you're just saying because it's a double IPA. It's not because of that. I think it's just a little bit more of a flavoursome yet rounded beer. But both of them are really, really nice. Yeah, and like Fuerst Wiacek, up there with the likes of Frau Gruber, Yankee und Kraut. Who else is there? You don't hear much from Buddleship that much anymore. I've heard a lot of good things about Brew Heart. Is it Brauerei Flüger? Which is sort of like, ironically, sort of like a German version of Squawk, even though I think they were around before Squawk. I can't remember. But Flüger are more sour based. They're good. Then, of course, you got one of the true OGs of the German craft movement, Sebastian Sauer from Freigo Spiegeltor, and Thomas Schopper from Schopperbräu, who's been doing like craft beer since 2011 in Germany. So yeah, there's some proper old school like German craft stuff that you never really hear about, like Brew Heart, is it? I think. And of course, one of my favourites, Sudden Death, who, like that brewery in the UK, recently, based in Kent, had a massive fire. And of course, Harry's Brewery, Ramsbury, they suffered a massive fire as well, and as did Sudden Death. So I hope they're doing okay, because I really like Sudden Death. They were one of the breweries when I was in Germany. The generosity of German brewers is just amazing. I remember when, because I'm not going to lie, I did get a little bit cheeky every now and then, just asking if it'd be possible to get hold of some beers so I could do a review. I mean, I was one of the first people, like, genuinely to review Stone Berlin, because I got in touch with them before they'd set up, and they said, yeah, no problems, once we've got some cans released, we'll send you some. So I'm sure I had a premiere of Stone Berlin. But yeah, I formed a really good friendship with Yankee und Kraut. The last couple of times I was at the Regensburg Craft Beer Festival, didn't have to buy any beer. They were just giving me all sorts of beers from different people. Pirate Brew Berlin, who unfortunately aren't existing anymore, because I think they've gone back to Spain, was it? They were awesome people. But yeah, the generosity of German brews, like even like old school like German brews, like Spital. I got invited to go around the brewery itself. Crew Republic sent me a fucking full like crate of like 24 beers. Sudden Death, they sent me beers. Super Freunde, they're a brewery who I need to try more of, but they can be a little bit pricey to get hold of. They've got great merch, really good merch. And yeah, Hopperbräu, I got to know the guys from Eichhofner, Steamworks, when they moved to Berlin. Yeah, just the generosity of the German brewers. Because I was cheeky, I used to like send emails and stuff asking to sample some beers, and a lot of the time they'd send me them. Camber Bavaria, fucking hell, I've not had anything from Camber Bavaria. I don't even know if you can get their stuff in the UK. There's some great breweries in Germany, not just the traditional stuff that I just fucking spaff all over. I've always said it, Germany's got one of the most like enriching brewing stories and cultures. And of course they've got a really, really interesting and exciting younger sort of craft beer scene. And Fuerst Wiacek are definitely amongst those, as our Frau Gruber. We've gone full circle with the point I was going to make. It's very rare I do that. Yeah, these beers are nice. They are really nice. But it's one of those occasions. You could say this pretty much for every beer nowadays, couldn't you? Especially when it comes to IPAs and pales and double IPAs. Oh yeah, but I can get this from X and X brewery for X amount of money. But it's just nice to know that being a craft beer lover in Germany, you've got a really good sort of like domestic scene steeped in brewing tradition. And of course, they're getting amazing beers. Like everywhere nowadays, it's weird, isn't it? Like even like as not far back as like 2 years ago, there was a lot more chasing for beers, but now a lot of the time, oh, you want this beer from this brewery? Well, you can actually buy it from this website. I mean, look at the likes of Treehouse, Other Half, Equilibrium. You've got Vitamin C, amongst others. And not just like the haze bros, but like the barrel age stuff. And I mean, we've always had like good access to brews like Hopping Frog and things like that. But I don't know. I was talking about this, I think, with Adam and Craig, with the fact that a lot of these beers are actually available to buy for a lot of the time now for an all right price. The sort of like the chase aspect of buying new beers has sort of gone, especially, since we were thrown into this manufactured pandemic. Since we were thrown into this pandemic situation, it's very real, it's very dangerous. Stay safe. But if you don't want to get jabbed, don't get jabbed. Don't let people tell you to get jabbed. Don't get bullied into doing it, because that's how fascism starts. But yeah, I'm starting to get congested because it's dusty as fuck in this corner of the bedroom. I live in a proper shithole. The rest of the house is nice, but I just have no fucking respect for my own personal space. I think I'd have more chance of having a girl come over and cleaning than I would having a girl coming over to have sex with. I like being pretend to be really personal. But what was I saying? Yeah, so I mean, even like in the UK, a lot of breweries were hard to get hold of in the UK, but now a lot of breweries have their own web shops. A lot of the time, well, mainly due to like necessity and like getting logistics in place. A lot of bottle shops that you'd have to, travel across the country to visit, they've got web shops now with national delivery. So, and they're getting beers that you never thought they'd ever get in. So it's like the chase is sort of, for the most part, gone. So it's like beer hunting, like the thrill of beer hunting has sort of disappeared because a lot of it is just there, available to buy. And one of the main obstacles I find personally is price as opposed to availability. And you've got like individuals who are importing beers and trading beers and then selling them on, the aftermarket sort of stuff. So pretty much there's a good chance if you want to try beer from a brewery that you would never usually be able to get hold of, you can get hold of it. And probably the biggest obstacle would be how much you have to pay for that beer. But yeah, don't know what sort of grand point I was supposed to make then, but it doesn't really matter. I'm starting to get nasally now. I mean, my voice does great. It really does. I hate the sound of my own voice. He says after talking for ages. So we'll check the comments then. Let's see. Fair bit of Samuel Smith talk. We don't like hooligans. Samuel Smith is no brother of John Smith's. Adamant. Apparently one of his songs was #1 when I was born, says Sam. 10 p.m. already. Today's gone bloody quick. Speak for yourself, Goldie. Can I have that as your nickname? I know nothing about him, just from reading what that hit song was in that period. Old Speckle then is the worst ale I've tried, cannot stand it. It seems well made, but I just don't really like it. Fair dues. I'm not the biggest fan myself of that. I'm going to go and start filming now, dude. Ciao just now, says James. Ciao. And yeah, exactly, P. I'm not getting the jab. I think if I'm going to be brutally honest, and it's sort of like the same reasoning that Christopher Hitchens got his vaccines. He was very much against the jabs for a long time. But it just got to that point where I was so fed up of not being able to see people who I care about, where I pretty much I admitted defeat and then got the jab. I tell you one thing, I'm not getting any fucking boosters because I think that's pointless. I think that's stupid to get boosters. But I could see that we were going in that direction of, oh, well, you can't do this, or this if you don't show that you've had the vaccines. And I don't like that. But it was just because of like family and stuff. I just thought, you know what, sometimes you've got to wave the white flag. You can still, even though you've done it, you can still talk about why you don't like it and that sort of thing. But I think it was just out sort of like desperation. But I know for a fact that I have basically used my own civil liberties as a bargaining chip. Do you know what I mean? So I'll never begrudge anyone who doesn't want to have a vaccine. Because forcing people to have vaccines, is that not akin to sort of like eugenics? I'm sure there'll be someone with a scientific mind who will go, oh, well, eugenics is, and to compare it to this would be doing a disservice. I know there were those people, was it in Germany, protesting about it. And see, I found it really funny. They were using the yellow Star of David with like a vaccine written on it, because it's got that sort of similar feel to it, hasn't it? Segregate the people who refuse to go with the script. I mean, I do see plenty of flaws with the whole situation, but I don't know. Maybe I gave in too easy and got my jabs. Who knows? Who's right? Who's wrong? There's scientific evidence for both sides of the argument. You can have scientific facts, but you could still tailor it to your narrative that you want to go for. But I think a lot of it is divide and conquer. Because let's face it, the biggest travesty is the fact that we're at each other's throats when we're not coming together and standing up and uniting and supporting each other. It's like, you should be wearing your mask in the shop. And do you know what I mean? It's weird, isn't it? I mean, I don't want to, trivialize the loss of people who may be watching this who have lost someone to COVID. I think it's very real, obviously, but it's farcical how we've handled it. Even though we've got probably the most effective vaccine program in the world, and who'd have thunk it with Boris Johnson at the helm? But yeah, it's one rule for them, one rule for us. A lot of the time, I know people are like they were going on about Boris Johnson. He got pinged, but he didn't go into self isolation, and he only went into self isolation because there was the whole outcry. You're not telling me that the likes of Diane Abbott, Keir Starmer, Jess Phillips, I mean, Corbyn breached COVID rules at a fucking house, like a dinner party. You're not telling me that Keir Starmer has thought, fuck it, I don't need to worry about this. I can get away with it. But they're all a shower of shit. They're all cunts at the end of the day. Bickering about non-important stuff. Just trying to score points with, let's be honest, we're a fucking stupid general public. There's some proper, absolute dickheads in this country. Some proper gormless, have to be spoon-fed and told what to do. A little bit of rant over it, so you can hear it. Let's see. Exactly. Yeah, call me anything. I ain't one of those offended type. I went to Brum's Freedom Rally Saturday. It was amazing. See, I'd like to actually go along to one of those gatherings just to see what it's all about, because they're happening and the mainstream media is just not talking about it. I think they should. No matter what sort of narrative they want to spin on it, they know no matter what, if they show that, then people will see it and think, oh, hang on a minute, something's going on there. Towel delivery. Don't worry, I won't be wanking into a towel on stream. Not yet, anyway. He says that and he fucking drools. It's because I've had the vaccine, that's why. But yeah, I'd like to go to that. We're living in a literal fascist society. I think we're living in what could become very much a fascist society, because all those telltale signs are there. The build up to fascism. And we've got Steve Was show. So evening potentially to either Steve or Was. Evening. Really enjoyed the last stream you did. Was it the pissed up stories? I enjoyed that. I do really enjoy those streams. But evening to both of you, even though I think it's only one who's watching. How are you doing, buddy? I'm not doing too bad, thank you. I was feeling a little bit delicate today because I was in Manchester all day yesterday, but not too bad now. It's just really fucking warm. Again, it was nice and cool these last couple of nights, so I was able to get some sort of sleep. But I hope you're both doing okay. And it's a tough one. It is, yeah, that's it. I'm saying all this up then, back in my head. And I think, well, Peter, do you actually... I don't know. I think that summarizes it, though, isn't it? People don't really, for the most part... What situation are we in, really? But I think, fundamentally, I'm seeing this tearing friendships apart, families apart, and then people being bullied into either not having the jabs or having the jabs, and peer pressure, that sort of thing. There's a lot of ugliness with all this. And there's a lot of lies being put out there. playing of the figures, and it's just, I don't know. Because if it's so bad right now, why would they be wanting to lift the restrictions when cases are going sky high again? So it's like, even though I think it's good, and I think we've got to get to that point where we've just got to try and be careful, monitor it, adjust accordingly, but we have to get rolling again. But then you're looking at, it's like, well, they want us to have less restrictions, but because the cases are going high, hospital admissions are going to go high again. And when it does get to a point where it's like, oh shit, we have to do something, they'll spin that, oh, well, you did decide to all go out, didn't you? And they did that with that Eat Out to Help Out. They used that as a scapegoat. It's like, yeah, well, we did see a lot of people going out for something to eat, didn't we? Yeah, because you were fucking incentivizing people to do it. So make up your fucking mind. But yeah, it's just people being pitted against each other is what I really don't like. I'd never vote, but if it did, it'd definitely be an alternative party. I'd like to see the Libertarian Party get a bit more of a presence here in the UK, but I know for a fact that it would get, what's the word? It's like what happened to the Labour Party. Fundamentally, I think Labour should be an amazing party we should all be stood behind, for the working class, for the people who don't have voices, getting people the rights that they need, equality. But it got hijacked by some very idealistic, troublesome people. And I think that's what would happen with libertarianism in the UK. And I think it would go into a more right-wing sort of direction if it did. But then again, it was really refreshing to see in our local elections the sort of like local independents getting a bit more votes, and their voice was getting out there a bit more. Skelmersdale Independence Party. I'm sick of being in a Labour stranglehold, because Rosie Cooper and the Labour Party have been in power, or they've been representing us here in Skelmersdale and obviously surrounding areas for years, and we've got absolutely nothing. We've reaped no benefits. So it's not that I want the Tories to win, because I've got a lot of problems with the Tories. I've got a lot of problems with the mainstream parties in general. To me, they're just two sides of the same coin being flipped by the one hand. And that's the most meaningful, pretentious, and poignant thing I will ever say in my life. Let's see. Yeah, Peter Birmingham Mail said there was 150 people there. There was easily 3,000 people. It's like, what stake do they have in lying about that? It's like local news. Do you know what I mean? It's like, why would I don't get it. It's just agendas, though, isn't it? It's agendas. It's pushing a narrative. It's influence from above. It's just all sorts of things. Sam thankfully brings it back to the beer side of things. He says, I'm on a wild ale. Very shite, very shite. Very white wine-like. Nice, but I prefer the smoky ones I had last time. Oh, a smoky wild ale. I do like a good smoked beer. Smoked beer is probably one of my favourite styles. And I like it when they're a little bit abrasive, where you can really taste it. Makes no sense, as Steam was. You summed it up in one sentence. It just makes no sense at all. Yeah, it's all Labour councillors near me for the past 10 years. They've completely ruined the areas. And I don't have my TV licence, don't watch mainstream news, don't buy newspapers, etc., and don't vote. And I was actually at the Bron protest. In my line, I could see 200 people. There was easily 3,000 people there. It's part of their agenda to lie. It certainly is. Because they don't want people to see that there are people out there who are unhappy and very much, they're angry, they're frustrated. and they want the voice heard. But they know if they show it, then it's got more of a chance of people going, well, hang on a minute. Whereas they don't even need that. They don't need the mainstream. When you think about it, they don't need the mainstream media exposure because of how social media nowadays is an infinitely better way to get your news. I mean, like even that GB News channel, fucking amateur hour. Some great talent at GB News, but fucking hell, they've messed that up. But now they've got at least they've got some entertainment factor with Nigel Farage being a presenter and doing like a segment where he just has a pint and talks about stuff. It's relatable. Do you know what I mean? And that's going to work in their favour. Whereas, like, if you watch BBC Breakfast, it's like all sit up straight. We'll joke like we're casual, but it's like nah. It's all a farce. It's all an absolute farce. Goldrake claims to be 17, says Craig. I just think of it this way: 16 months of our lives taken away, we'll never get it back, and I am, mate, just know what's right. Well, you've got to stand up for what you believe in. And even if I was to completely agree with what you said or completely be against it, I've got a lot of respect for people who actually speak their mind and talk about stuff they want to talk about. Of course, there are limits. If people start to go on about like such and such, this collector of people, blah blah blah, and it gets that like really ugly side of things, like I don't want to hear it. I've heard enough. But I know Goldrake would never get to that level. That's not what I'm like trying to insinuate at all. But yeah, you've got a good head on your shoulders for a 17-year-old. You probably drink a bit too much for a 17-year-old though. So naughty, naughty. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a day, folks, because my arse has gone very numb and it's sweaty at the same time. So probably gonna chafe while asleep. And I just spat because I'm not all there. So yeah, it kind of got classic Clues Drinker stream. We begin on a proper subject, 2 beers, but then we go on to topics completely unrelated. But yeah, both beers worth checking out. One of my, well, mind you, I've got one more can which I'm actually going to do a proper review of and probably upload it like a year down the line. But yeah, Fuerst Wiacek, and every opportunity I get to try these beers, I'll definitely do so. I'm regretting not picking up another can of Exploding Rainbows because that was really good when I had it. That's like a single hop Amarillo, was it? IPA, can't remember. But yeah, both good beers, both available on Trembling Madness. So if you've been intrigued, throw them into your order. They've got some other beers from them, and they've got some Frau Gruber up there. You could also get a mini keg of Schlankerler Oak Beer Mertzen, which, why didn't I pick one up? But yeah, I think out of the two, I think the double IPA just edges it. So yeah. Let's see, Goldrake laughs and then says, see ya, good stream, thank you for joining. And Steam One says, good night all. Good night. I couldn't jump on that stream because was I actually in Manchester? You did on Saturday? No, I was trying to get an early night on Saturday, but I ended up staying. I just couldn't get to sleep until about 2 o'clock, and I was like, I woke up at 7 and thought, just got to get up. But yeah, I did enjoy that stream. My stream guys, talk later. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Very much appreciated. Cheers, Sam. Oh, Sam's questioning your lack of check-ins on Untapped. Shouldn't have done that, lad. Shouldn't have done that, lad. Anyway, cheers for watching, folks. You all take care. Stay safe. Hope you have a lovely week. Hope you had a really nice weekend. And yeah, I'll see you all soon. Don't know what the next stream will be. Don't know who's doing a stream next. In terms of like a group one. But I might do a cheeky sort of Doppelbock live stream later on in the week. I don't know. I still need to do another episode of Libido Mania. We shall see. It always seems to be last minute when I actually decide to do streams. Let's see. Cheers, Peter. I take these of every beer I drink, so I can just add them on, mate. And my Wi-Fi is fucked, says Stacey. I didn't get that comment on the YouTube stream. That's what I don't like about this. This disconnect between the comments on StreamYard and the comments on YouTube. So if you're just depending on one source, there's a good chance you're going to be missing out on some comments. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Take this way. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, cheers for watching, folks. I've got a big bag of crisps that I want to get into. Going to go for a cig because it's a bit cool outside. And yeah, Fuerst Wiacek, really good German brewery if you've not tried them. Sounded like the beer hooligan there. And yeah, if you see any of their beers, give them a go. And what's some of your favourite German breweries? This is more for the people watching playback and that sort of stuff. What's your favourite Fuerst Wiacek beer? And yeah. I'm still really shit at ending live streams. I don't know. I have to get something like set in stone that I can use for the end of every live stream. I mean, they're still commenting, and I don't know. Like, you're all enjoying it. Sam's telling me to join Chris. Of course, I'm going to join Chris. Have you seen my stomach? Well, if you could call in tomorrow, that was very awkward. I tried to turn it off. This comedy bit's over now. You can clearly tell us now because the door's right there. Unbelievable, amateur, but good actor.